Lucifer.
Make no attempt to reload your device. You are now entering the Hellhole.
Welcome back to the Hellhole. Welcome back to Mortal Kombat. Almost can't believe this is actually happening, but here we are. Look at that, Scorpion bio. I forgot that the Genesis game had the bios. So the character image isn't animated, but it's kind of impressive that the bios are there at all. I have not played this game for about 20 years. But if you know me, you know I'm a fighting game tragic, and I'm a Mortal Kombat tragic. So it's about damn time we played some MK. I'm digging this. It's got the Goro screen. It's got everything. I am playing on the Sega Genesis. The Mega Drive is what I would call it. And of course, we know that the Mega Drive is distinct for having the blood code. Let's hit restart and see about that. I think every MK fan knows the blood code, whether they played on Mega Drive or not, or Genesis. I, of course, know it well. It's a good-looking game. Look at that. How exciting. Where's the code screen? Give me the code screen. Come on. Doesn't it usually come up before that? Am I going to need to restart? You're making me nervous, game. Here we go. We're going to get this. We are going to get this. So if you know me, you know I am lurking the shadows of the Mortal Kombat world. Mortal Kombat is a favorite game. I secretly love a lot of fighting games. I'm a big Street Fighter fan. Here we go. This is the code screen. Oh no.
Get over here.
Hey, there you go. It's a little bit nervous there. So I was a big Street Fighter 2 fan before Mortal Kombat. Who am I going to be? I'm going to be Liu Kang. God, this is so weird. It's been so long, and yet you don't forget a game like this. So I was a Street Fighter 2 fan. Mortal Kombat came along. I believe that was the first Genesis game I got. Because, my mother wasn't so keen on violent video games. But here's a game that reminds my dad of Enter the Dragon, and that kind of buys me a chance to own a very violent game. So I think I got it Christmas, but I had a Sega Master System. I unwrapped this game, I try to contain my disappointment, and then my demented parents slide a Genesis, a Mega Drive out from under the couch. So that was pretty exciting. Hey, what's up, Chris Cornell? You know it. I'm probably going to embarrass myself. I haven't played this for 20 years, and I wasn't even very good back then. But I'd like to try to get a complete playthrough here. I don't even know that. I don't know the fatalities. I should have looked this up. I'm completely unprepared. We'll see how we go. So that was Sonya. Now we got Sub-Zero. All the classics are here. All the MK fans are going to get pedantic. Make sure you know this is the Sub-Zero who dies and becomes Noob Saibot. This is Bihan. He's not bi, he's B. That is not a comment on anything about his lifestyle choices. God, this is so weird. Am I gonna jump out here already? I should have put it on easy mode and not told anyone. Oh no. So why do I love these games so much if I'm so trash at them? Well, look, there's a lot to love. Just look at it. Look at the characters, look at the backgrounds. There's a plot here, a world. Oh man. I'm not sure if my control is entirely functional. Oh man. I don't know if I've got lag or if my control is having issues. I'm blaming the control. Oh, this is terrible. This is terrible. I'm sticking with Liu Kang. The second fight, come on. I think when I was a kid I played on easy mode, I'm not gonna lie. There's something slightly off, and I could definitely have some lag with my setup, but look, I'm not here to tell you the secrets. I'm not here to do a masterclass. I'm just here to play a game that I really like. And it's taken this long. This is the first straight out fighting beat 'em up game that I'm playing. I've played some belt scrollers, some scrolling beat 'em ups as I would call them. But this is the first side to side kick and punch kind of game, so I'm excited. There will be more. Well, there will be more. I got one in mind that I'm very keen to play that just had an anniversary. Mortal Kombat's coming up to its 30th anniversary. You probably know that. You know that if you read MortalKombatOnline.com, the finest MK site there is. I'm not saying I have anything to do with that site, but it's certainly one I'm familiar with. I kind of, I rail against the nostalgia for these early games a little bit. The palette swap characters, the retro style. I think these games have been a fine example of evolution, of improving, of getting beyond the limitations of the hardware. However, all of that said, I got a real soft spot for this first MK. I think it's a little bit underrated, even within the fan base. There's a lot of MK2 fans. MK3 gets its love. I'm sure there's some Trilogy fans. Whoa, look at that. I did a fatality. You happy? You bloodthirsty freaks.
Toasty!
So I like this game a lot. I miss... Oh, you for real? Come on. Man, my control is in bad shape, I think. It's not even registering. That's a hell of a way to find out my control sucks. Might have to get a new one. I'm gonna do my best. This is what? 30-year-old hardware. Cut me some slack. I'm playing on the Genesis that I got all those years ago in the 90s. Still chugging. Yowza. So I like the original Mortal Kombat, and I miss the emphasis on martial arts. It's there in the latest games. They've honored the characters fairly well, but I long for the days of like the Shaolin tournament, the Mortal Kombat tournament. I feel like we're kind of overdue, even though, I mean, John Tobias detailed the timeline that he had in mind, and I forget now, was it every 50 years or something? Basically, it was a situation where we're not going to see a tournament in our time, in our lifetimes. I feel like that's a bit of a shame. I like, if we go once a generation, you could make the argument we're due for another one. 30 years, that's good enough for a generation. I might have argued that we should have had one in 2011 when the series rebooted with a very strange sort of remake. Chris Cornhole makes a good point that Deadly Alliance had a bit of the MK flavor, the original MK. Felt like it was getting back to MK1 roots in a big way while still doing something new, which for me, that's what Deadly Alliance is. It's the moment when things developed. The new is what stands out for me there. But to me, like, Deadly Alliance is the moment they cash the check that these games wrote. Everybody has their own designs. Everybody has their own unique fighting style. You can silhouette those characters and you know who they are. You can tell Scorpion and Sub-Zero apart. And I like that a lot. That's the pleasure of Deadly Alliance, which is definitely a game I will play at some time. I guess I'm kind of thinking of these streams as like just sharing the canon of my favorite games, putting it on record. So Deadly Alliance, that's one of the fighting games I want to get to. There's another one that came out around that time I'm eager to get to, but we'll see. Oh no, I got owned by Kano. I like that they fleshed out Kano to be Australian. I think that's fun. Obviously all the Australian gamers like that there is an Australian character. Although, of course, it's the criminal. The penal colony origins just, impossible to avoid. Where's Jeffrey McWild when you need him? But in these days, Kano was what? He was like American, some sort of Chinese connection, wanted by Interpol. I don't know. I'm all over the place now. I noticed my manual's missing from my copy, so no doubt I was looking at character bios or something at some point, because that's the pleasure for me in these fighting games. It's the characters, it's the stories. Oh my god, I just remembered. You can't back... There was a debate recently on one of the chat rooms I was in, back to block or block button. I like back to block. I gotta adjust. I feel like I don't know. I love Mortal Kombat, but I will definitely make disparaging remarks about it, as I will anything I like. I think the block button's a little bit clunky. but it's at home in the American fighting game. That's a comment on America. It just seems it's a little bit clunky, but I feel like Back to Block, saying Street Fighter 2 fits the underlying philosophy of the design. A lot of Street Fighter inputs are sort of about the motion of the fight. You know, the fireball is the wave motion. There's a lot of motion considered in the design of that game, and I feel like Back to Block is a very intuitive, dare I say, sophisticated way of handling blocking. By the end of this stream, we will manage to alienate every MK fan. Don't worry, we're gonna tick every box. I'm just gonna keep talking about Street Fighter. One classic detail that I don't miss is maybe this Johnny Cage look. I think Johnny Cage got improved with each game. I mean, I think a lot of things did. There's something about the simplicity of the Liu Kang look here that I like. Black pant, white slipper. It feels like it connects with the Bruce Lee Enter the Dragon sort of look without being too on the nose. I don't know. I like the simplicity. Is my camera wigging out every now and then? I am not a shape-shifting sorcerer, I promise. I just keep catching it out the corner of my eye. I don't know what's going on. Is this gonna work? I swear when I was a kid I got all of these. It's not even acknowledging, man. Come on. What is it? I don't know what's going on there. I'm blaming a 30-year-old control. The classic mirror match. I like it. Oh, sneaky bastard. Ah, man. It's weird. It's been so long and yet it feels so familiar. What is the input for the cartwheel fatality? Because I don't remember any of the fatalities. I think I can do Scorpion. I did the bridge. I gotta look this stuff up. I need my cheat codes. Oh no. So much fatalities. I was never big into fatalities. Yeah, I can't remember either. Is it? I'm not even gonna guess. Are there always 3 endurance matches? Oh my goodness. I'm probably gonna crap out on these. But we're having fun. I'm doing Back to Block again. True fans know block button. I'm not a true fan. Chris Cornwell says fatalities were cool in the same way all of the other secrets were cool. But he was never into the gore either, which is something I can relate to. I think it's a little bit strange the way MK's sort of somehow become associated with horror. It's not a horror franchise, it's a martial arts franchise. It's no more horror than Riki-Oh is horror, or classic Shaw Brothers films or something. There might be some blood, there might be, you know, some entrails here and there, but it's in the service of martial arts. I can't believe I jumped out. I'm gonna try to look up a fatality. I gotta make the fans happy. I definitely don't obsess over the fatalities. I'm not part of the obsession, as Chris Cornwell has described it. I thought so. Oh, you're kidding me. I should have just tried to do it. If I tried, I might have been able to guess the Liu Kang fatality, because it actually, you know, talking about the philosophy of movement, it is very much a movement-based fatality. Forward, up, back, down. It is the inputs of a cartwheel. Oh my god, I can't even get a flawless. What is wrong with me? So that's the new mission. I'm going to try to do a fatality. I'm going to do Liu Kang's because it's non-lethal. And I'm a nice guy, and Liu Kang's a nice guy. And everybody should stop being jerks and embracing villains. Liu Kang's cool. Liu Kang's cool, and he's good enough to be the hero. Hang on, what is it? Forward, up. Oh no. Oh no. I'll try again. It's just not my way to do a fatality. Liu Kang's good enough to lead the franchise is what I was going to say. I am thinking of the most recent movie, which we won't talk about because we're here for a good time. We don't need to think about that. My favorites back in the day were always Liu Kang and Scorpion. I like Raiden. Thinking of who I played as much as the characters that I like. Mortal Kombat really seems to foster dedicated fans of a particular character. I like a bit of everything. I like the overview. I like the way everything fits together. That's what makes a fighting game for me. I like the ensemble. Okay. Ah, come on. I'm not getting it. I am not hitting those targets. Hey, it's Sonya. The First Lady of Combat. Fight like a girl. It's gonna hurt. I do admit that I prefer the MK3 Sonya. I thought that was a good update. This is perhaps not the most flattering attire, but it's not a fashion show. But the designs do improve. They get a little bit more elaborate, and I like that. Your mileage will vary for workout spandex. I think everybody got better designs in the later games. I don't know what I'm doing. Here we go again. Well, it registered something. I don't know why they leaned so hard into the ninja spandex designs. I always think particularly for some reason, MK4 Scorpion, I always think wetsuit. I like that we got away from that. We started getting some fabrics, some unique wardrobes. MK3 and MK4 was a very weird, shiny and smooth, form-fitting kind of time. It is surprising a little bit that MK4 stuck with that stuff. MK4 could have done a lot more to differentiate characters. I can understand, you know, you wanna maintain something in the transition to 3D. And going 3D was probably a bit of a risk, but you know, we can handle a bit more than a scar on Sub-Zero's eye. easier to render. Could be. Should I mix it up? I don't know. I'll try Scorpion. I like that MKDA, Deadly Alliance, Scorpion, and Sub-Zero. I thought they were very good. I thought MKDA did a good job of updating the MK3 Sub-Zero look. That was pretty cool. I'm just mashing buttons now. I guess the question is, what do I value more? Being cool and playing on normal difficulty, or getting a complete playthrough here? I might scrub my way to a finish. What is it? Yeah! I did that. I like that arena with Shang Tsung in the background, sitting, checking things out. Those little details, I think, are key to Mortal Kombat. A little bit of character, a little bit of story. Shang Tsung hanging in the background, applauding the fight. If I had to pick between Han and Shang Tsung, I'm picking Shang Tsung. It's kind of, that's a thought. It's a little bit surprising nobody in MK had an interchangeable hand. I guess they go cyborg at some point. But that's a whole other thing. Come on. Goro's lair is a very simple background, but effective. What am I doing? What am I even doing? I don't miss the white Kano. I could go a white Raiden. I don't miss Kano in white though. I like some of the later Kano looks. His scumbag mercenary looks a little less martial artsy. My father always used to say Kano reminded him of some of the dudes in Enter the Dragon. I think, what's the guy? The guy with the scar is sort of who I think of. He used to think of Roper. Raiden, of course, makes us think of Big Trouble in Little China. You notice I just did I did the special moves. I've acknowledged that I know them. I know some of them anyway. I don't know the fatalities. I think Raiden evolved for the better as the games went on. Design got a little bit more elaborate. I think Deadly Alliance is where Raiden really starts to click in. I do have a soft spot for MK4 Raiden. I don't quite know why that is. I like that there was that clip for MK4 where it's Raiden's back to the screen. I don't know why, I've always liked that. Something about that. I think Deadly Alliance... I mean, MK11 Raiden was really cool. I like that a lot. I like MK11 a lot. And the only reason I'm not playing it on streams is just that I'm not very good at it. And I think that's probably unpleasant to watch. It sabotages my own credibility. And it is unpleasant for you, a viewer. Not that any of this is brilliant. But at least this will be short and sweet.
Frosty!
Is it going to work for Raiden? Hey, it's working! Nice. I don't know why it works now and it didn't before. I just work here. Whoa, Raiden against Raiden. That's nuts. I like the I think it was the novelization for the film. Had something about, you know, the mirror match being a mind game. I like that. It feels like a good classic sort of martial artsy kind of thing. The fight with oneself. Literalized in presentation. I always love... I'm going to keep talking about Street Fighter. And I know it's going to upset Mortal Kombat fans, but I don't care. The Street Fighter 2V anime did a great episode. I think I've mentioned this in another context, where there's a cave, the Cave of Ancients in Dhalsim's little home village, and there's a treasure, but anyone who goes in there gets killed or whatever, and it's a big exciting fight. Ryu and Ken go in. They each have to fight sort of like a Buddhist stone, I don't know what you call it, figure. And they of course realize they're actually fighting each other, and the only way to win is to not fight and to master oneself. I like all that kind of stuff. So I feel like the mirror match is in that sort of spirit as well. The idea that you're fighting yourself. And obviously in the game context, you got to win the match. In a narrative format like the film, it would have been very interesting to see them do something where maybe, you know, not fighting was the way to win. And I guess to some degree, you know, they didn't do that in the film, but they did do Shang Tsung turning into Chan Kang. That's kind of, you know, kind of the same idea to some very small degree. I'm talking about the 95 film, if anyone's unclear. As far as I know, there is no novelization for any film released in 2020 or 2021. Liu Kang killing himself. Hey, I got a flawless. I totally zoned out there. I think my controller's responding better too. Hey, here he is, Shang Tsung hanging out. Taking in the fights. Like Dana White. Oh man, did they do... I don't know if they did a novelization of Annihilation. If they did, I want that. It'd be interesting if there would be more details about Quan Chi and stuff in a novelization, because that'd be the good stuff. I can't imagine what else there'd be. I'm imagining reading all those lines in a book. I don't even know these dudes. An entire chapter dedicated to Raiden getting a makeover. That's the real meaning of combat. Maybe MK12 could do that. Instead of just picking your customizable gear that you've unlocked after days of grinding, maybe we could have a makeover mode. I'm jumping out on these endurance levels. There is a cheat code, I think, to get more continues, but I don't remember it. Is that the dullard code? I can't remember now. Guess I could try. Can I... Hey, there it is. It worked. It is the dullard. Down, up, left, A, right, down. Still got it, kid. Well, I don't even remember what all this crap does. Can I get more continues or not? Apparently not. Well, never mind. I'm doing it. Oh, what? It's already on easy. This is where you do the credits. All right. Oh my god. We'll leave it on easy, which is what it was on. I'll try with more credits. How long's it been? It's getting late. I'm gonna stick at it. I do love this. Just this simple, like, stone battle plan. All the characters' names, the mugshots. I just dig it, man. It's special. It's maybe not as exciting as the world map in Street Fighter 2. Yep, I cannot stop. I will keep talking about Street Fighter. But it's just got a charm. There's a sense of a place and a world in Mortal Kombat. You look at all the stonework in the background, you can imagine that the fighter lineup might be somewhere on the island. You know, I just dig that, man. And I feel like that's something that, you know, the new Mortal Kombat movie could have done. I mean, I guess they haven't. They haven't done the tournament as of that 20. When was that movie? Was that this year? Or was that last year? I've really tried to put that movie out of my mind. Look, there's a lot wrong with it. There are reviews out there that you can read. One of them may have been written by me. And I may have done my best to remain articulate and not just piss and moan about it. But it's a garbage movie. I was very polite to it, while also being critical. Wee. There's a lot they could have done. They could have really tapped into it. They could have looked at this game. They could have looked at the 2011 reboot. They could have looked at all this stuff and put together an exciting new version of the Mortal Kombat story that was still faithful. They could have focused on different characters in different ways to the 95 film. Because the 95 movie, although not 100% accurate, it's not 100% faithful, it's not 100%, correct, it still holds up. So I do understand a desire to perhaps not retell that story. But at the same time, I think, the fidelity of the material is important, and the material is good enough. They could have done a very good, faithful adaptation without inventing some weird, Wicker Man and Annihilation style tattoos. We gotta stop talking about this movie. It's miserable. It's just forget it exists and hope that they don't do it again. And I don't know, Snowblind is leaked. The animated movies were better than the live action movie, but they got their own problems. Scorpion's Revenge was kind of enjoyable, at least. They made their little strange tweaks, and everything's got to be a multiverse now. MKX kind of validated every version now, just doing whatever the hell they want. Scorpion's Revenge is alright. It's worth a look. They make some key changes, like, I don't know, are you worried about spoilers? Liu Kang isn't the guy who beats Goro. So that's kind of weird. Journey Begins is pretty bad. I don't know what I rented in like 95, I thought it was Journey Begins, but it didn't have the traditional animation in it. It's not, whatever I saw, it wasn't the full Journey Begins, and I'm still baffled by that. I don't know if it was like a promo. It definitely had some of the CG stuff, but it didn't have any of the traditional animation, as far as I remember. But yes, I have seen Journey. The Journey Begins, and it's not good. It's cool to have the original VHS though. It was a good extra for them to add to the Blu-ray of the 95 movie. I wish they had more on that. I wish they had more like behind the scenes, and I think there was a Laserdisc commentary by Paul Anderson. I was recently listening to some of his Resident Evil commentaries because I actually think he's very good to listen to. He's an articulate fellow with some ideas, even if you're not so keen on his movies. He'll explain why he's done things, and it can be interesting, particularly if you're interested in filmmaking. And I would have been very interested to hear his commentary on Mortal Kombat. It'd be interesting to hear maybe even like a Ed Boon, John Tobias commentary for the film. I just like film commentaries though. I enjoy that kind of stuff. Why does it not respond when it's Liu Kang? Is Liu Kang on strike? Chop the wood, buddy. You're the chosen one. Come on. A really good I had Resident Evil. Is it Apocalypse? I was watching that, listening to the Paul Anderson commentary, but it's got 3 commentaries, which I love. A DVD with 3 commentaries. That's beautiful. Imagine Mortal Kombat commentary with Paul Anderson on one, maybe Ed Boon and John Tobias do a commentary, and maybe you get one with the gang, Robin Shue and Lyndon Ashby and Bridget Sampras, all the gang. Christophe Lambert can laugh every now and then. It'd be great. That Blu-ray is a little bit light. But I'm still mad at Warner Brothers for selling an Enter the Dragon Blu-ray that says it has a particular Bruce Lee documentary, which was the reason I bought the Blu-ray, because I already had Enter the Dragon. I wanted this documentary. It's not on the disc, and they said they would send me a new cover to make up for it. A cover that didn't say that it had the extra that I bought it for. I'm still very upset about that. Warner Brothers, you scumbags, sort your shit out. You're still all over the shop. It's the 30th anniversary of Mortal Kombat. Do something. I don't know what it is about Warner Brothers, but they've always managed to maintain this sort of... Well, maybe not always, but like the last 20 years, there's always been this sketchy, slightly off quality to them. But shout out to Warner Brothers if you're watching. Look, you got a lot of products that I like. I just wish you'd, treat them a little better. Give me a good product for a good deal. I can't believe I'm playing Mortal Kombat on my original Genesis, on my Mega Drive, on the internet, chatting to a buddy. This is just cool. This is good fun. I've given up on trying to do the fatality. I don't know exactly how to do it, and I keep just jumping around. So I have abandoned that quest. Killing is not Liu Kang's way, except when it is. I'm reminded that at some point I learned to block, but generally I never blocked. Which is maybe why I was never any good. I think blocking really made sense to me when I got to grips with back to block in games like Tekken and Street Fighter. I can't think of any other fighting games that do a block button, but I'm sure there are some. I bet something like Biofreaks or some crap like that does a block button. I don't know what War Gods did. I never played War Gods. As shonky as War Gods is, there's just a little part of me that thinks it'd be interesting if that factored into Mortal Kombat somehow. Warner Brothers has got all these Midway games, these properties that they've gobbled up and don't seem to be doing a lot with. And I always just wonder, you know. I mean, War Gods was that's a weird thing in general. I'm sure it was weird for the developers. But if that had been like a game about, you know, like if it tied into Mortal Kombat more, or at all. Essentially, what I'm pitching here is that War Gods could have been like a prequel to MK4 or something. The story of Shinnok laying waste to the gods. Instead of just telling us about it, that game could have been about, you know, Shinnok fighting a bunch of gods. But then it clashes even more with MK4 if you do that. And it's already weird that there's this other fighting game about gods coming from Midway. It's just weird, man. But the 90s were cool for that because you could get a... Hey, look, it's working. I can do it to stone but not wood. What does that mean? Figure that out. I'm very nostalgic for the 90s in various ways, particularly in games because of the variety of gaming. Tim Rogers recently dropped his latest action button review, which was marvelous as always. I'm very enamored with Tim Rogers. He does a great work, and he sort of succinctly put it that there is a nostalgia of, I mean, you know, I think we've all, a lot of us, if you played games in the 90s, we've all bitched and moaned about it to some degree, that we miss those sort of weird, interesting PlayStation-style games. The way the AAA games have sort of consumed everything into a monotonous, repetitive melange of just the same thing in different ways. It's disappointing. And I'm nostalgic for the 90s when you could have these slight variations on different concepts, but also, I guess I'm more so, you know, I'm not nostalgic for War Gods. Really what I'm nostalgic for is like Parappa the Rapper and all that kind of junk. Games that I should just, you know, stop bitching about them not being there and get to playing them, which is kind of what I'm doing here streaming. It's a slow process. There's a lot of games to get to, and I'm working my way through new games, old games, all that stuff. We will commit to the canon titles of joy. And that's what we're doing today. We're recording Mortal Kombat. And if you want to see the other games that I have played, they're all on YouTube. Search for the Hellhole. There's links wherever you are. If you're aware of this right now, there will be links either in YouTube info, on Twitter tweets, in the About section of Twitch. It's all there, ready to be discovered. I recently rearranged my YouTube channel, so it's a little bit easier to see some of the games that I've been playing. A little bit easier to discover some things with playlists. If you've seen my Hellhole trailer on YouTube, I put it that there's new games aplenty, old games too, and even older games. So now there's playlists really highlighting that. This Top Row Fighters I never bother much with. It doesn't make me a bad person. I don't know if I'm getting past these endurance fights. Maybe I should do one very easy run just to see if I can get all the way to the end. And if you were here for the intro, yes, stick around, there is an outro. Let's try to earn it though. Adding... What am I even trying to do here? Adding Hellfire Breath to Scorpion's repertoire. That seems like a good move to me. I just got a flawless. How about that? Recorded for all time. Crazy that WB wouldn't even put out a low effort collection. MK1 and 3. That does surprise me, and I'm curious because Ed Boon has just said in like a fan Q&A that they have more than one game on the boil right now, which is intriguing because we've seen developers with Injustice and MK material on their desks, and there was that leak, so we're thinking Injustice and a new MK, but there is still that classic collection, Mortal Kombat collection online that was rated by Peggy, and then no details. So essentially, could there be some kind of classic collection, some sort of remaster or a remake? It's interesting. I tend to think it's not going to be anything like that though, because usually with MK, with NetherRealm, with Warner Brothers, it's the obvious thing, it's the unremarkable thing. If you can think of it immediately, then that's what it is. I'm not putting any stock in Marvel versus DC. I don't think that game is happening. I don't necessarily hate the idea, but I don't love it either. I'd like them to work on Mortal Kombat and maybe finally deliver another adventure game, because boy howdy are we overdue. And I very much screw my face up at the notion of a Shaolin Monks remake. I get it. I get that, if you were too young to really appreciate it, if you don't have retro gear that can play it again, I get that you want to experience Shaolin Monks, but can we just get a new game? Release a remaster or whatever, or just the retro game. Release that digitally or something. Package it with a new adventure game. A Liu Kang Kung Lao game would be cool. I fell in love with the idea of Arkham City, but with Scorpion. I get that Scorpion's kind of a cheesy choice, but it kind of works. I don't know why I've got lodged in my mind. I just love this idea of being in a I don't know, Hong Kong or somewhere, or China or Japan. A developed Asian city with maybe a bit of stylized flavor to it, and just flying around the skyline on Scorpion Spear. Something about that, just like Arkham City. Well, jumped out. I love that idea. I don't know why. But any kind of adventure spin-off, they could do a good Special Forces. They could cash that check. Come on. We all know that Special Forces was not that bad. I know you know Chris Cornhole. I know. I played it plenty enough. It's clearly not the game they set out to make. Oh. It's not the complete game they might have wanted. You can sense that it's somewhat unfinished. But it's by no means a bad game. There is much worse out there. And the concept is sound, and if they wanted to make Special Forces with modern sensibilities, that could be an incredible game. Play as Jax, play as Sonya, throw in a Kenshi. If you got to have Johnny Cage, sure. And now we got all the new Special Forces kids, which is that could actually be really cool. I kind of like the idea of playing with Kung Jin, shooting some arrows, Takeda with his crazy ass whips and his ninja gear. That could be a great game. Get to it. Stop spreading injustice and give us what we want. Something good. I know there's freaks that want injustice. Those people are wrong. They're just objectively wrong. Injustice is trash. Sonya, Jax, Kenshi, and Cyrax would have been awesome. Yeah, Deadly Alliance era Special Forces. That would have been great. I mean, they could patch Cyrax back in. We got to pretend like this new timeline matters. Man, the new timeline is disappointing. Yeah, Cyrax being with the Special Forces was cool. Kenshi being deep in there, sort of a Metal Gear Solid vibe. That was cool. I hate that we lost Sector's Tekkanen, because that seemed like it could go a lot of interesting places. We got that sort of half-assed Triborg Tekkanen thing going on. It's just not quite the same. I'm always holding off on writing an article about what was dropped. The drop dangling storylines from Armageddon. Maybe one day. You got. I'm just thinking of the weird stuff that was dangling from the end of Armageddon. You had Kano was like a genetically engineered dragon dude, and you had Jax was compromised by the Tekkanen. Scorpion was raging at the gods. You had all kinds of interesting dangling plot lines. But MKX was really good, and I really liked MK11. The plot of MK11's a little bit hit and miss, but the game itself, the package of MK11's really good. MKX was maybe not quite as polished a package, but it had a good plot. MKX is the game to me I think 2011 should have been. A good mix of old and new. And I like the dangling teaser of some of the arcade endings that had Kotal Khan leading Outworld in a tournament against Earthrealm. It would have been very exciting if maybe that was where we went. Just because I crave the classic tournament. That's just me though. It'd be interesting if MK12 did figure out how to work the tournament in. I mean, the good thing about the Kotal Khan situation was Outworld were the aggressors. Although I guess maybe... No, Earthrealm were the aggressors. Yeah. It was Raiden is hostile to Outworld. And essentially Outworld was a bit more sympathetic with Kotal Khan fighting to prevent Earthrealm hostilities, which is a good way to initiate the tournament without violating the timeline that Tobias puts forward. Essentially lets you have a tournament whenever you want, starting fresh. Hey, we're going to see Goro. This is exciting. Goro, the reigning champion of the tournament. Hey, there he is. Whoa. He's not even waiting. He's a madman. He's half man, half dragon. He's 500 years of murderous muscle. Get him. Whoa, that was close. I love Goro. Goro deserves our respect. They gotta make good on Goro. He's been treated very poorly in multimedia, in the games. I mean, that's an old Mortal Kombat problem. They have got better at that. They don't just tell you that somebody's great and then constantly have them chumping out. It used to be like, oh, Goro, he's the reigning champion for 9 tournaments, and then we only get to see him get beaten up. Oh, you know, Liu Kang's great, and then they show him dying or falling into. I'm thinking of like MK4 when he walks right into Tanya's trap. Anytime characters actually had to participate in a narrative, they were always made to look like idiots. They don't do that anymore, so that's good. I like that. Ooh. We might actually finish this. perfect timing too. Because we're coming up to the hour. We've had a lot of good fun talking MK, playing MK. Look at this. You idiot! You're trying to use my own skills against me? Get real, Shang Tsung. Oh my god, we're the Supreme Mortal Kombat Champion. We got his ending unlocked. After defeating the mighty Goro and putting an end to Shang Tsung's rule over the tournament, Kang is able to return to... I wasn't quick enough. Kang's heroics will always be remembered. He will continue the traditions of the Shaolin Temple and restore the true pride and respect of this once great tournament. I love that. I love the Mortal Kombat story. What a pleasure this has been to revisit a game I haven't touched in so long that does mean something to me. We're going to play some more fighting games real soon, and I'm just going to be all over the map talking about them because I do love fighting games. There is just something, I don't know what it is, man. It's like the genetics of ancient man are still inside. I love competitive fighting. I love the characters, the stories. We're gonna honor the team. We're gonna let the credits roll. I'm glad I was worried for a minute there. I thought I wasn't gonna get through the game. I'm glad I did not resort to very easy, not realizing that the game was already on easy. Oh, how humiliating. I guess these credits are all for the port. We honor the MK team though. The Boons, the Tobiases, the Vogels, Dan Forden, all the originals. Well, it's been a nice time, and I'm going to call it a night. I've entered the tournament. I've found victory. I've had a real good time hanging out with you in the chat, Chris Cornhole. Shout out to the David Kane. I was right. David Kane is a Batman villain. I knew it. I don't know that the David Kane is a Batman villain, but David Kane is a Batman villain. We'll be back playing more fun stuff sometime real soon. Trying to get to that magical number that Twitch has told me I need to get to. If I do that, I can play the mystery game. Let's roll it. What's that video game? It was released in the mid-1990s. It is a console exclusive. It trades heavily on the gameplay of another well-known title, but pioneers all new variations. What game is it? The only way to find out is to smash that follow and reach the next threshold so that we may play that video game. Back to you, birthday boy. So we're so close. Smash that follow button if you're watching in the archive, and I don't know, send out invitations, invite everyone to follow. We're so close to that number. I really want to play the mystery game, which I'm going to let you know on a little secret. It is a Genesis game. It's a Mega Drive game. I paid too much for it. Mortal Kombat I already had. I got that in the 90s. I've still got it. Very happy to play that again. I paid a little too much for another game. We're going to play that sometime soon. So smash that follow. And remember, you can head to the archives. You can find this by searching Hellhole Mortal Kombat. Give it a few days. It will be staggered. Right now I've got Elden Ring fresh on YouTube and still on the VOD on Twitch. You can find all that stuff. There's a lot to explore. Do what you want to do. If it's boring you to tears, just ignore it. Play it at double speed, bounce around. If you're curious, look at the ones that maybe you don't know anything about, and enjoy this experience of sharing And I'll be back with more sometime soon. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Thanks for hanging out, Chris Cornell. I'll see you again real soon. Adios, amigos.